Hello, this is JD Rabali with the Biz Kidz Podcast. We are excited. This is our very first episode of the Biz Kidz Podcast. And if you found us and you are trying to figure out what's this all about, the Biz Kids USA is a program where we help young people introduce them to entrepreneurship and find out how to run a business. We have events called the Biz Kids Markets, the Biz Kids Expo, and the Biz Kids Camps, where we give the opportunity for kids to learn about entrepreneurship and actually try it for themselves. And what we find is when they make money for themselves, they're excited. Right? After you make that first dollar, you want to learn more about business and getting to understand it better and want to know how to make more money. So our first podcast here today, we have a guest with us. Her name is Alexa.
Hi,
Alexa,
everyone.
welcome to the show. Alexa, I met at a high school when I spoke to one of her class, and she got involved with the Biz Kids about 4 years ago, if I remember correctly.
Yes,
And
yeah.
she did a number of our events, our markets, and our expos. And so she has a good understanding of how we work and how we can help give resources to kids to get into circles where they didn't normally know how to get into those circles. So what we're going to be doing today is kind of finding out about her business. But our format for this podcast is going to be I'm your host, and Alexa is going to be one of my co-hosts. So as we bring on guests talking about their businesses, we're going to talk to kid business owners. We're going to talk to the regular business owners, people
Mm.
that have started their businesses. And Alexa is going to give us the perspective from a young person in college, what kind of questions she has for these owners. So she's going to help us out. You'll see her on multiple episodes helping out as a co-host. So welcome, Alexa. And
Thank you,
the way
JD. Thank you for having me.
I always like to start off is a 60-second pitch, because you never know when you're going to have the opportunity to pitch your business. So Alexa, tell us about your business you're currently running in 60 seconds. Go.
All right, perfect. Well, first of all, I want to say hi, everyone. I own a embroidery business called Única. Única means unique in Spanish. Since I am Hispanic myself, I wanted to kind of bring in that culture a part of my business. So within this business, we create different designs for our items. It's clothing and uniforms as well. So we may work with companies to provide their uniform for them, or just specific custom designs that people might want. So you might have custom orders, you want something specific, we can provide that for you.
Awesome, awesome. And she's already done some specialty items for my wife. So, and they came out great. So thank you very much for that. My wife did some gifts for her clients, and so she printed those up, and they did an awesome job. Now, Alexa, how young were you when you kind of got your first business idea, and where you kind of started thinking about business and that you wanted to go down this path?
Well, when I first started thinking about business in general, I was 15 years old, because I went to a high school called Lorenzo Walker Technical High School, where we kind of figure out what career we want to get into as we start growing up. So I started getting the idea of potentially joining business just because of my personality. I feel like it matches along business overall. And when I then became 16 years old, that's when I joined my first business class ever. And that's when my first business called Fair for Everyone, which was a jewelry business, that's when it all began. It was a very exciting experience overall, but mainly 16 years old, that's when I started coming up with ideas and seeing really what I wanted to start my business career with overall.
Nice. And I know at your school, unlike a lot of schools, they allowed you to actually sell your product within the school during your lunch break and stuff. So, how was that experience? So, like, how did the kids in your class like take that as they saw you making money on during the lunch break?
Well, overall, it was really exciting just to be able to experience that as a 16-year-old all the way to 17. Just knowing that we're going to school to sell and make money, it made school a lot more fun in general. And because there was other students in my class who could also sell during lunch with us as well, it kind of seemed like a little flea market at some point, and it was really nice. And all the students who were during like in lunch, they would join us and start asking us questions about the business, wondering what we sell, and just overall us being able to sell our product to them, which was really great and a great experience overall as a high schooler, because it feels like you can potentially learn a lot through other students and overall be kind of a guide for them to kind of show them this is what we do and you can do that too. So, and it's really great for a young age too.
So as an entrepreneur, I always wonder, like, how much money did you make? And that's what, so on an average day, how much would you guys sell during the lunch period? So that was, I assume that's only about an hour at the most?
Yeah, for like about an hour on an average day, we would probably make over $100 during that lunchtime. It was pretty good. On slow days, it might be a little bit less, but on really, really good days, there was one day where we did make over $300 in just that one lunch period. Yeah.
Not a bad way to go to school and actually
No.
cash in money. Now, were you able to do that like every day of the week, or did you do, or was there certain days during the week, the month that they allowed it, or?
Well, when I was in 11th grade, it first started off with just twice a week. Then it started getting more so where we started selling, not every day, but just more oftenly. We kind of convinced the teacher to start letting us sell a little bit more because everyone would be going at the same time. That would work with his schedule and our schedule and give us more experience overall to actually get out there and sell for our business.
And we'll give a shout out to Ted Coyne, the instructor over there. He does an excellent job on getting these kids the knowledge of how to run a business. I know from the kids that came through his class that did our Biz Kidz Expo, where our expo, the kids get to sell their product, but they also get to pitch their idea to the business. Some of the top teams came from his class. So we'll give him a shout out for everything that he's done for his students out there as well. Now, as you went through your journey through high school and trying to figure this out, what would you say the biggest win was for you? I know you had a great $300 day, but what do you say overall? What was your biggest win?
Definitely my biggest win was being able to fly up to Chicago. We were selected for the Incubator EDU program, where they selected five finalists across the United States, Australia, and some other country as well. And we were one of the ones that were selected to fly up to Chicago and represent our business. Definitely that was a big win because it kind of proved to me in a way of my personal like journey that I can do this, and it was just reaching another level to be able to show other people what I also have to provide, and that was just overall the biggest win in my business career so far.
That's awesome. And how many other teams did they fly up to Chicago to compete?
It was four other teams, so it was five total. We were the ones that were selected, and four other ones too.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And one of the things that we're looking at in our program is to do more pitch competitions because we see that that is a value to teach kids, how to present themselves. And did they have a time limit on how much time you had to present your business to make it put you under the gun and on pressure?
Yes, they did. We had 15 minutes to be able to pitch to the judges all about our business and to prove to them that why we should win. Yeah.
And then was there a Q&A time? Did they ask you questions where you had to come up with the answers right on the spot?
Yes, yes. We had 5 minutes for that. So it was 10 minutes of presenting to them and then 5 minutes for Q&A where they asked us all sorts of questions and it was right there on the spot. There was no paper or like a cheat sheet to kind of give us an idea of what they were going to ask. Just right there, spot on. We just had to come up with the answer to their questions.
That I think that's such great training for a young person to be able to have that opportunity to pitch yourself because you never know in your business journey where you'll need to pitch to try to find money, to find a customer. And sometimes you only have a short amount of time to do that. And to know your 60-second pitch, that's why I always start off with what's your 60-second pitch is we want to know that it's right on the top of your tongue. And so if at any moment you have that opportunity, you never know. You're technically, the elevator pitch is somebody walks into the elevator with you and you have until the next floor to get your information in their head and make an impression. I think that's critical for young people to understand, and I think it's for any entrepreneur. I talk to a lot of adult entrepreneurs that I ask them what their business is about, and they can't even give me a 60-second pitch of what it's about. They go on and on and on, and I'm like, what do you do? So it's good to learn. What would you say the biggest kind of loss or challenge you ran up against during your time so far that you've said, wow, um, I'm surprised that I had this loss, but it was a big opportunity to learn?
Definitely having to leave the business that I used to have before. Like I had previously mentioned, I used to own a jewelry business called Fair for Everyone, and I had made the decision to step away from the business. Definitely kind of felt like a loss in the moment just because I did feel like I was going to continue on with that and continue on creating a new journey with that overall. But because I left, it did make me realize there's something else in store for me. So sometimes a loss, like a door closing, just opens another door. And that's definitely how it felt like, because if I didn't step away from that business, I wouldn't have realized that I want to focus on embroidery and start a new business of my own.
Yeah, and I think that's always good to understand. And I've had over probably 20, 25 businesses in my life that I've started, most of which have failed. And understanding that it's okay to have those failures and to know that not every one of those businesses is going to go on forever. It could be you could be exiting for multiple reasons. It could be that there just wasn't enough cash flow. It could be that somebody bought you out. So you never know where that opportunity is going to be and what's around the corner for you for your next big opportunity. Um, what would you say is the the lesson that you learned that really kind of got you ready for the next business? What is something you learned from your jewelry business that you are now going, yes, I'm implementing this. This is the way that I know we need to go this direction. And
Definitely the lesson that I learned is sometimes there's things that you might want in a certain way, and sometimes you have to do it on your own, and that's okay. Because many times, especially as a kid, one feels like, we're always dependent on each other. We're kids, and kind of like with parents, we're dependent on our parents. So when you are in a business, especially with other people, you feel like you're depending on them, and that's exactly what it is. And I definitely learned from that experience that I can also depend on myself, and it taught me that just how I was able to give so much into one business with somebody else, I can also give so much to a business of my own. So it really helped me grow and learn that I can do things myself as well and grow to be a little bit independent, but learning that it's okay to depend on myself as well and not just on other people to make things happen.
nice. Um, what would you say you see in the future for your business? Like, where do you see this embroidery business going, or do you have bigger plans? And is this just a stepping stone of kind of in your master plan of where you want to end up?
I definitely feel like for my embroidery business, Unica, that working with other companies, partnering with them to be able to provide their uniforms, I know that's going to for sure be a stable way to have a steady income coming along, profit coming along for the business. That's definitely the big step that I want to take. And also focusing on designing for people, but definitely I feel like that is going to be the next step, is working with big companies to be able to provide them the uniforms that they need.
Nice. Have you got into the design work yet, or do they just submit their design work to you?
They submit the design work to me, and then afterwards, I convert that into a specific file for the embroidery machine. So that then afterwards, I can create the uniform that they're requesting.
Nice. And as you start to build this out, what was one of the tools that you found? It's an app or um, a process that you think has probably been one of the best tools that you use. And I know we all, as small business owners, get onto our computers, and there's everything from QuickBooks to scheduling apps. So what would you say the one thing that you use that makes your day go a lot easier?
Definitely, it's Chat GPT. I know it's definitely the app itself is so helpful because since I'm a beginner when it comes to embroidery. I'm still learning. I search up a question and it answers it immediately and in specific detail. So sometimes I might have an issue with the machine itself, so I just put the model of the machine and I ask a detailed question, and right there it just answers the question right away, to the point where I'm not stuck on YouTube trying to figure out what the problem is or how to fix it. Like ChatGPT itself definitely makes my day a lot easier for sure.
Really? And are you using AI in other ways for like organizing things or your marketing as well?
Yes, anytime that I have ideas or a specific question on how can I make my business better, or what strategy is the best way to reach a larger audience for my business, I use ChatGPT for that so that it can provide me the answers that I need and I can start working on it as soon as possible.
Nice. And I noticed that I use ChatGPT as well to help with my marketing because I'm dyslexic. And so when I write, it doesn't always come out looking professional. And so when I can write it out and use that as a way to kind of make sure things come out the right way, then the grammar police are out there anytime I put anything on social media telling me I used the wrong there and so it comes in handy to make sure that I get that kind of stuff picked out right away. Whereas before I had to have my wife read every post before I put it out because I would submit it wrong and then the grammar police would be all over me. So, which, you know, it's a part of being dyslexic that one of the things I've learned throughout my life is you find workarounds to how to do your work, and I think having an app like that definitely helps the whole process.
Definitely.
So what would be one piece of advice you would give somebody young? We start kids as young as 7 years old. I have some 6 year olds that are like dying to get in the program. What would what one piece of advice you would have for them to get started?
I feel like the one piece of advice that I would give the audience, in order to get started overall, is to not be afraid overall, and to know that the first idea that they have isn't going to be the last. Many times, I understand that people tend to be afraid to start things. It's not so much the journey itself that they're afraid of, it's just starting because they're afraid that something might go wrong. And I want people to know that just because you have one certain idea does not mean that that's going to have to stay that way. So if it's not working out, if you have a specific business idea, just like how I did, I started off with the jewelry business. Just because it doesn't go the exact way that you wanted to, just know that there's always another option for you to do so. Because at the end of the day, those failures are small successes at the end because it leads you to one step closer to where you are supposed to be.
I agree 100% with that. And is one of our staples of our program is celebrate the failures. And what I encourage parents to do, if you're listening to this as well, let your kids fail. That is where they're going to find the most growth and figure things out for themselves. We can sit there all day and tell them this isn't going to work or this is going to work. You need to do it that way. Until they experience failure for themselves, they're not going to understand it. And so giving them the opportunity to fail and then celebrating that with them so they understand that it's just a part of the process. You're not a
Exactly.
loser. You haven't failed at life. You just failed at the task you were working at that moment, but now you know how to move forward in a better direction. And so I think that was a great way to close our session, Alexa. I appreciate you being here today. I'm looking forward to many podcasts that we interview people and kind of hear their stories. So we're looking forward to more. So stay tuned. Watch for our next episode. Alexa, do you have anything to say to final words for us today?
Well, at first, I want to say thank you, JD, for having me here. And I'm pleased to be able to continue with the podcast and to show a lot more people what business truly is and how great it can be in your life.
Great. Well, thank you for joining us at the Biz Kids Podcast, episode number 1. It's under our belt now. So we will see you on the next one. You guys have a great day.